Throughout human history, courage, ambition, and luck have triggered the most remarkable rises to power from very humble beginnings. Theodora, the prostitute that became empress. Theodora was born in Constantinople in the year 500. Her father was a bear trainer in the hippodrome, and her mother was a dancer. Around the age of 12, Theodora started work as an actress and prostitute. She would perform on stage in the day and do a night shift in a brothel, providing sexual services to low-status customers. When Theodora was 16, a Syrian official named Hysebulus, who happened to be one of her acquaintances, was appointed governor of the Roman province of Libya. He offered Theodora the position of concubine, which she gladly accepted and followed him to North Africa. At the start, their entanglement was quite rosy, but within 4 years, it had gone sour to the point where Theodora was severely maltreated and abandoned by Hysebulus. On her way back to Constantinople, she stopped at Antioch. She met a dancer named Macedonia, an informant for Justinian, nephew and adopted son of the emperor. When Theodora was introduced to Justinian, he was captivated by her beauty. Unfortunately, a Roman law from the Constantine era prevented men of high rank from marrying women in the lower class. He therefore made her his mistress first, while pleading with his uncle the emperor to repeal the law. 3 years later, the law was repealed and they were married in 525. When the emperor's health began to decline, he named Justinian his successor. When he eventually died, Justinian took the throne. Theodora became empress at the age of 27, 2 years after their marriage. Theodora's role in political affairs was very significant. She received foreign envoys in the emperor's place. Her name was mentioned in nearly all laws passed throughout the empire at the time. During the Nika revolt in January 532, the two major opposition groups formed a coalition against the government and sought to depose the emperor. At the height of the chaos, Justinian's advisors urged him to flee, but Theodora stood her ground. She ordered the imperial guards to charge and slaughter the rioters. An estimated 30,000 rioters were killed, and the city returned to calm. Theodora introduced many reforms about women's rights. She outlawed sex trafficking and strove to abolish prostitution. On one occasion, she rounded up over 500 prostitutes and confined them in a convent. She forbade the death penalty for wives who committed adultery and implemented a death penalty for rape. She introduced many reforms that favored women in the event of divorce and in property ownership. Many scholars believed it was Theodora rather than Justinian who ruled the Eastern Roman Empire. Catherine I of Russia. Catherine I was born in April 1684 as Marta Skoronska in Ringen, a city in present-day Estonia. Her parents were runaway serfs. Her father was a gravedigger. Both parents died of a plague, leaving behind Marta, who was only 3, and 3 of her siblings. Marta lived with her aunt for a few years and moved to Marienburg, present-day Latvia, to live with a Lutheran pastor called Gluck. Marta served as a maid in Gluck's household. In 1702, during the Great Northern War, Russian forces invaded Marienburg, and Gluck was taken to work as a translator for a Russian diplomat and Army General Boris Sheremetev. Marta, then 18, also worked in Sheremetev's household. Sources say Marta was Sheremetev's domestic servant and mistress. Sheremetev took Marta to Russia and handed her over to Count Alexander Menshikov, a close ally and advisor of Peter I, the Emperor of Russia. It was during a visit to Menshikov's residence in the autumn of 1705 that Emperor Peter I first set eyes on Marta, then 23. Marta's ever-cheerful nature, witty gestures, and concise answers to the emperor's questions proved that she was the dependable mistress the emperor had been longing for. Peter immediately fell in love with her. Marta was brought to live in Peter's residence. She converted to the Russian Orthodox faith and was baptized as Catherine on the 28th of December 1706. The couple married a year later. Though senior military officers expressed disappointment with the emperor's involvement with an illiterate girl, the couple was very much in love. They went on to have 12 children, 2 of whom eventually ruled Russia. Emperor Peter married her again in 1712, this time more officially. On the 7th of May 1724, Catherine was crowned Empress of Russia and named co-ruler. When Peter died in 1725 without naming a successor, Catherine became the first woman to hold supreme authority in Russia. Russia enjoyed a period of peace during the reign of Catherine. She managed to significantly reduce military expenses, which was consuming a whopping 65% of the state revenue at the time of Peter. By curtailing military expenses, Catherine reduced the tax burden on the peasants, earning her the reputation of a fair ruler. She didn't need to be literate to make a good ruler. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing to our channel.